Hi there. I hope you are doing grand and having a wonderful day. This is the Deep Violet Podcast. I am Victoria. I sit down with artists. I ask them why they do what they do. I ask them how they got there. And for this episode, I'm super excited. I was in New York and I got to sit down with Caroline Absher, an artist that I've been following for years. So I was super duper excited about it. Caroline is a New York based artist and has been there since she was 18, but is originally from South Carolina. She graduated with a BFA in painting and a BA in art history from Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. Her latest residency was at Macedonia Institute in New York in 2022, and her most recent solo show was at the Fredericks and Fraser Gallery titled Back to Oz in 2023. I was so honored to be able to sit with Caroline and speak about her practice while being around her work. When you first stand in front of one of her paintings, you are immediately transported into a magical, vibrant world which she lets you into. Her work is loaded with energy, which I found stuck with me for the entirety of my time in New York. She truly shows us the power of daydream and fantasy. And so with that, I am so excited for you all to listen and learn about Caroline and her practice. Has a lot of your work been, like your shows and stuff, been in New York as of recently, or?
I got to do a couple things in Europe a couple years ago, just starting out, and that was incredible. And then the past 2 years have been mostly just stuff in New York. And hopefully I can do other things soon.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I feel like New York is a nice place to like have your base.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. I love it here.
Yeah, I love it here too. It's been so nice. I've been here for like a few days and it's been amazing. But anyways, to get into how would you define your practice, like including materials and subject matter?
Okay, so I'm an oil painter. I have always just painted with oils. I'm not sure why. I never even tried working with acrylics.
Never?
Not really, no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they always just dried way too quickly. Like, I love working wet on wet. So, and I've just been doing that since I was, the first oil painting I ever made was when I was a teenager, maybe like 13, 14. And so my practice is mainly just, it's kind of like I start out with abstractions and then I add the figure and then the kind of world building, merging the figure into the abstraction is how it comes together right now. And then at the end, it's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. And this is just curiosity, but do you like go into a painting with an idea of what it's going to be, or does it kind of respond to you?
I never really know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm going to paint. There's kind of an inkling in the beginning, and like the color palette and the general composition of the first layer, it informs the second layer. Sometimes ideas will pop up based on just like shapes that I see and find. But in the beginning, it's very loose, and then it like really comes together and things start to form and take shape. I think it would be a hindrance to just the way that my brain works to know what is going on the whole way through.
Yeah, 100%. And I was saying this with an artist that I was speaking to recently. I feel like painting is such a like conversation. You know what I mean? So to be like, oh, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and not be receptive to like what the painting is giving you is kind of difficult. And that's a whole different type of painting.
It's just different. Yeah. I mean, I really admire the painters who are able to do that. I just can't.
Yeah, it's different. I feel like it's two different types of like artist brains, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, you're good. Is it important?
No.
And then, so kind of in the same vein, but is there a message that you're not necessarily trying to give, but is there a message that like is embedded in your work, or like a theme throughout like all of your work?
I think definitely there is a theme. I'm so bad at using the language to describe it. It's more of just a feeling. It's like this kind of the feeling that I hope that viewers get with my paintings is kind of, yeah, like positive and hopeful, and remembering the kind of purity of being like young and passionate, and just like having everything in front of you. And there's this kind of feeling that they say that you spend your whole life trying to get back to that feeling of being like a young person again. And like the art that you were making was just like reckless abandon. So I try to channel that and like get back to that place.
Yeah, and like try to get the viewer to kind of feel that in some way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's such a great like message to try to bring through in your work.
Thank you.
And then speaking on that kind of, how often do you think about the people that are looking at your work? Like the viewer, how often do you think about them?
Well, it's funny because obviously the paintings are always better when you don't think about that at all. But sometimes, like recently so now that I have the opportunity to show the work with each other as opposed to like one single painting somewhere, then I start to think about the way that they look together more. And that's really interesting because I've never really done that. Usually the paintings are just one single thing, and it's like a statement. And then, but now it's like they can be in conversation with each other. One can be like less active, and then the other one is like kind of has all the energy. And so that's really cool. But aside from that, I really try not to think about like what's trending in painting. I just follow the intuition.
That makes sense. Has that like changed throughout your like art making practice?
Well, actually, yes. So when I started painting, I was always making very abstract, like non-figurative, kind of loose, gestural kind of paintings. And then I started drawing more and more and getting really into figuration and just loving it, and making these like big face paintings. And it was really fun. And that is when I started to show. And so it's interesting because like during that time I was making a lot of figurative pieces because I was like getting really interested into it. And then I learned how over time to paint. My technical skill improved in the past several years because I've just been painting full time. Obviously, like it makes sense.
It's a muscle.
And it is. And so because of that like technical ability, I'm able to now like merge my first love, which is like the abstract gestural looseness and like freedom, with the figuration now, because I've like kind of learned what I need from both. And so now I'm just kind of like exploring and pushing it further and just trying to always stay on my toes and like never make a painting that is easy. Like it kind of has to be a challenge for me.
Like a little stressful.
Yeah, it needs to be a little stressful,
And again, like I kind of in the same note, but I feel like you kind of spoke about it when you were talking about the message, because your message is really lovely. But what do you think draws people into your work?
I think at first it's probably the color, because I have like no restraint with color. It's they're usually very bright and chromatic. And then the second thing would be the movement and the energy, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what draws me into your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, they really do pack in so much energy. It's really, there's so much to like look at, even though they're not the most like complicated. Well, some of them are more complicated, but like there's usually like one focal like figure, but there's still so much to look at within the one figure.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, I try to, it's a really interesting challenge to have a central subject, because you really want to keep your eye moving around the whole composition. And so I take that challenge and I usually solve it with color, like creating little points of focus so that your eye still moves.
Yeah, you do that very well.
Thanks.
And then we were kind of talking about like how you start off, you always did oil. And I was curious to ask, did you like grow up in a family that did art, or like what happened in your childhood to make you a painter? But like how was your childhood, and how did that affect your practice, or like what guided you here basically?
I love that question. So no, my dad is like a very analytical, mathematical, straightforward guy. He's in medicine. He's a neurologist, and he's like a really, smart person. But he also has this poetic side. He's like an actual poet, and
that's beautiful.
He writes poetry and stuff, which I think is really incredible when you see people that are able to use both sides of their brain in that 100%. Way. And so he's always been like that. But I think that's probably where, if any creativity is genetic, it would probably be from my dad. And I think as far as like why I started painting and why I decided to like never stop was when I was a kid, me and my brothers would just we were isolated in the kind of suburbs of town, and we had like these woods behind our house, and there would be really nothing to do other than go and like hike and be in the woods and just hang out in nature all day and create things out of like sticks, we would just like make sculptures and stuff. And
kids.
It was so fun. That was like my entire childhood was just...
That's so nice.
Yeah, and I think that creative, honestly, just not having screens when I was a kid, I was just like making stuff, and my brothers too, and we ended up getting really creative, and I think that's how it kind of all started. But also I think it was just always a part of who I am, because like when I was a child in grade school, I would always have a sketchbook just drawing like dragons in like the corner.
So cute.
Yeah, and just always drawing.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that I hear a lot with a lot of the people that I've spoken to about like how their childhood informed their work, and what brought them here is boredom is a huge part of it, like the creativity that arises when a kid is bored and is left without having an activity, like what you make of boredom.
I mean, I don't even like know if boredom
is the right word.
Exists.
Yeah,
I really think that
that's an adult. Yeah.
As a child, you're never bored.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I should speak for myself.
But I feel like some kids, like if they're, I don't know, I guess it's the freedom to make up things when you're a kid. And I guess I don't mean boredom, I mean more like having that time.
Yes.
And not having any other commitments, because now as an adult, like you're bored, or like you have this time and it's filled with boredom because you're so used to like always being like stimulated or always having something to do. And I think that some kids have that, especially nowadays with like phones and stuff. Like kids don't really have that as much permission to like sit and be like, what do I do? And have to think of something to do.
I feel so lucky that I was disconnected as a young person, like completely disconnected.
Did you guys have TVs?
Everything. No, we didn't even have TV. Like we had a TV, but my parents were so against television that they would just block every channel except for the news.
Oh, that's so funny. They're like, you're not getting any of this.
No.
This is just for information. Purely.
Yeah, it was like a treat. Sometimes we would be able to watch cartoons like on the weekends.
That's sweet though. And then what like growing up in the suburbs, like what jobs did you have?
Oh yeah.
What type of, yeah.
So I was a waitress and a hostess in high school, and then when I went to college, I helped edit essays. It was like the
nice.
writing. There was a writing center at Pratt where students would come with trouble with essays, and like basically it was a student job, but they still paid us, which was cool. And then that was my job for like 2 years, and then after that I started doing set design, which I did for like 7 years.
Oh wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I was working on set as a prop master, a set dresser, a set decorator, and then I graduated into a production designer for like low budget TV shows, like non-union New York City TV.
That's awesome.
And I was really having so much fun with that job, and then I even went on to do design some big budget commercials.
Wow.
And that was really fun because I just got to hire all my friends.
That's so fun.
And it doesn't even matter if they had like experience. I would just be like, just
come.
Take the money.
It'll be good.
It was like the best job, but then the pandemic hit. I probably would have just continued doing that because I never imagined like an art career was feasible.
Yeah.
It's just it seems so difficult to like break in. So I kind of was just like, I'm gonna paint forever no matter what.
So you were painting like throughout the whole time?
Oh yeah. I've been making paintings, the whole time.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and the shoots stopped. There were some that were still working, and I did do some jobs where everyone had to like fully mask, and it was like really intense because there were like 100 people on a set during like the height of the pandemic. Yeah. And so I did that for a while, and then I don't know, something just like clicked, and I decided that I really wanted to take that opportunity to just give like every single ounce of my effort into painting.
Yeah. I feel like there's always that switch. There's always like that one thing that happens that like makes an artist be like, okay, and now it's going to be like all on this.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to have that for it to, if it is going to work, for it to work, you're going to have that moment eventually.
Yeah.
Because doing it kind of like a half foot in, half foot out can take you somewhere, but it's just going to take you a lot longer, right?
Yeah, it's going to take you longer because the reason I chose set design, for anyone listening that is looking for a really good job in New York City where you still have time to make work and have a studio practice, the art department is a really good one because it's project based, so it's like a week on and then 2 weeks off and then a week on, and you just work for like 7 days on a shoot on a project.
That's really nice.
And then you can just make work, and I made a lot of work during those years, but it was never there was never,
not at the same intensity maybe.
Yeah, like the feeling of being able to come back to that painting. It always felt a little bit rushed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And how do you think that the jobs that you've worked, like even not the art ones, I don't know, sometimes a serving job can get you to like realize that you really don't want to do that. But like, how have the jobs that you've had affected your practice?
Well, I will say that set design made me an incredibly resourceful person. Like because it was low budget, I would just dumpster dive for dressing.
That's so fun.
Yeah, like in New York, we would just like drive a little cube truck everywhere looking for just scraps on the street to put in these movies and TV shows.
Oh my god.
I'm sure they would not want anyone to know that, but like low budget TV shows, the art department is they're making the most of not a lot. We make the absolute most out of like nothing, and have always just been, that turned me into the kind of person that is just like, I'm gonna make it happen no matter what. Like if I want this to happen, it will.
Yeah, that's a really good mentality to have. You kind of have to have that mentality.
Yeah, especially with like building stuff, building frames, learning how to, like, just simple construction and like the materials side of things.
Yeah, of course. And then I think that this is also, I always introduce it in the same way, but this is an important question because someone like trying to get into this career, like knowing what help people have had throughout their life is really important. So like, how have you been supported to be able to have this career? Like, what help do you think you've had?
Yes, well, I am extremely privileged. I mean, I went to this boarding school when I was in high school called the Governor's School, which was a state-funded, it's a public school, but it was this really interesting program where you apply to get in as like a 15-year-old, and it's a like basically college level intensity public boarding school for the arts. And it was like that movie Fame where there's like ballerinas and writers and musicians and artists, and there's one other discipline that I'm missing.
You said writers, music.
Writers, musicians.
Film?
Oh, acting. Yes, there was like a drama program, and that program was so intense. Like we had studio hours until like 9 p.m. at night.
Whoa.
Every single weekday, and most of us didn't go home on the weekends, so we would just work in studios over the weekend. So I've been like making art nonstop since I was like 15 probably, because I went there when I was 15, and that program was so great that I ended up getting like a really amazing scholarship to Pratt, and also like my parents helped me go to college, so that's incredible. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have those two things, and they've always been supportive and curious about what I'm doing, but they're just like, if you think you can make it happen, then like good for you.
That's wonderful.
There's no real pushback from my family, which is huge.
Yeah, it can be really hard for some people. Are you the artist of the family, or are your brothers and?
Yeah, I am. My brothers are all very, very mathematical, analytical. Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun being the creative one. Well, like you said, I'm sure they're creative, but like being like the creatively forward one.
Yes.
Of the family.
They're creative in their own. I think everyone's creative in their own way. They all really love nature, and there's. Yeah, I think that my family is just mildly. They're just interested. Like they're like, I don't know what she's doing, but yeah, curious.
Yeah, but they're happy that you're doing something that you're enjoying.
Definitely.
That's really important. And so you talked about like the opportunities that you think brought you here, like that the school that you went to.
Yeah.
And can you think of off the top of your head like any other big opportunities that you think like really pushed you and where you're at now?
Yeah, well, I think that Pratt was honestly the people that I met at Pratt, the community that I built there, that's like the reason, if there's any reason to spend all that money on art school, it's to make as many friends as possible, because like you just want to stick around with those people. And I made some really great friends at Pratt, and they went on to do things, and we all just kind of like get each other opportunities. And it's really, I'm trying to think of, so Pratt, at Pratt there was this professor that was a professor of painting, and I asked her to be her assistant.
Okay.
And I was this like working artist assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Her name's Peggy Cyphers.
Mm-hmm.
She's great.
She painter as well?
Yeah, she's a painter. And that was amazing because I got to see like how a working artist kind of functions.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
But yeah, so like starting off, like when you first started working, was it more of like you reaching out to galleries, or were galleries more like off the bat just coming towards you?
I think, okay, well, I had many shows when I was younger, like group shows and stuff where our friends would just kind of like throw things together.
Yeah.
But I think as far as like established galleries, it's kind of about the first domino, like the first one that gives you some exposure, and then that one leads to another one, and then the other one. And so the first gallery that ever really like, I remember I did this show in Finland.
Oh yeah, Finland is really big for the arts.
It's really gorgeous over there. The gallery space was incredible.
Yeah.
It was at this gallery called Makasini, and it's in Turku.
Wow.
Finland. Like so random.
I think I wrote that one down.
And I got this offer from them, and they found me on Instagram, and they were just like, "Hey, do you want to come to Finland?"
And you're like,
and
"Yeah."
At the time, I was like, "Sure, like of course, yeah, let's do it." And I made a solo show, and the work looked so amazing in that space, and I mean, the space was incredible. I'm going to show you a picture.
Please,
it's just like so beautiful. And those installation photos, it sounds like...
No, but this is like literally what it is.
Yeah.
This is what people are looking at.
Yes. So like those installation photos looked so professional and so good that I think that might have been...
a big switch.
Yeah, because people can see that it's the context, you know, like, oh, your work looks good on a giant wall.
Yeah,
like, you know, and so then maybe your work will look good on my giant, I don't know. So and then after that show, I got other offers. Yeah. But it's like all about the really good photos, unfortunately.
No, 100%. Well, it kind of makes sense to me. Like it is annoying that is like such a huge part of it. But if you think about it in a practical way, there's so many people claiming to be artists, and I'm sure they're artists in their own way. But like if you're trying to like take this career seriously, it's like a difficult thing to like claim to be. So like having that backing and having that like professional look and like set and having that in like your portfolio is really important, you know, like it differentiates you, because it's not like, I mean, this is a cliche example, but it's not like being a doctor where you like go to school, you do the thing and the residency, and then boom, you have that job title. It's way more like what differentiates you from someone just making art, you know, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess
that's why I think it makes sense to me, even though that's harsh.
I think like in the beginning, in my experience, the very first kind of people who are willing to stand behind me, they are the ones that basically made my career. It's all about those first couple of people who are like, you know what, let's just
believe in you.
And that's why the like kind of emerging art world, it's like there are so many like dark aspects to it, but the positive side of it is that there's a lot of like hope and faith and like trust, and you know what, like let's just give you a shot. And that's pretty cool. And I'm glad that there are still galleries that can
do that,
show that work, and that can do that, because those artists don't have a market yet, you know.
It's a difficult world. See yourself like when you're older and like
I would love to just be able to paint for a living
And that's
for
it.
a while. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I honestly just want to maintain. I don't need. Yeah, I can't believe that I get to do this for a living right now. And so to be able to continue doing that and like maybe even have like a house and a truck one day with like a little patch of grass. Yeah, that's like all
House,
I need.
truck, painting, grass.
Yeah. Like little, just
Got
a
it.
little bit of grass that I can just step
Just like
on
a little
in the
patch
morning.
of something.
Yeah,
With the sun.
I don't like need much. But honestly, just being able to paint and I can't believe that this is even a possibility. So yeah,
It's a beautiful thing to be able to spend your time doing
I
and
know.
put your energy in.
It really is. I mean, I could go on forever about just how endless painting is. Like there's no end, and I feel like a bit obsessive about it, which is fine.
That's the way it should be. It's
Yeah.
like one of the best obsessions to have,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't know. I guess there is some harm that could happen with having a sort of obsession, but I would say this is maybe one of the most like giving obsessions, rewarding obsessions.
Totally.
You know? And then we're in your beautiful studio, which is so lovely and has such good light. So what does it mean to you to be in a studio and have a studio? What does it represent?
It means a lot, honestly, because I've been in New York City for 12 years, and I've just been, like living very frugally, like broke artist, kind of paycheck to paycheck for a long time. And obviously it's really hard to have a studio.
Yeah.
That's another rent. Like it's 2 rents.
Yeah, it's double rent.
On top of student loans and stuff, like...
Yeah, for something that like isn't rewarding until it is rewarding financially.
No, it's pretty impossible.
Yeah.
For most people. And for me, it was until like a couple years ago. I split a studio with my roommate, Emily. We each paid $600 for this like space that was probably a third of this. And we split it.
Yeah.
And we each had like 7 square feet. And
It's the reality, guys.
yeah.
That's what it is until it's not, hopefully.
Well, yeah, I had my studio space was like the size of this square that we're sitting in.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I was making huge paintings, like the size of the whole side of the square.
The wall.
And I couldn't back up from it. Like I could
God.
only back up like 5 feet from the painting.
You're just like,
yeah.
yeah, that looks good.
And it was tough, but it meant like it was everything to me. I was so psyched to have this studio. I was like, I woke up super early every day and just like went. And now when I have, and with this space, it's just surreal. Like I'm so grateful. I love this little studio.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It is so lovely. And then what's the balance like for you? Like now you're doing this full time right now?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's like the balance like for you?
So right now, I hope that if I see this video in like 5 years, then it will have changed and I will have like figured it out. But I will say that my work-life balance right now is like not the healthiest. Like because right now, currently I am on a deadline and I have been for like several months. And it's just like, I don't know how to like space things out very well. Like I just need to learn how to do that because it's very, like the closer the deadline gets, the more kind of like intense I think everyone just works differently and I wish that I didn't need pressure to work.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But so like now that I'm really close to the deadline, I just spend 12 hours in studio a day. Yeah. Every single day. Like I don't take days off. And it's not, and that's not one of those things where like some people brag about working that much. I'm not proud of it. Like, I should not be in studio this much.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be going to dinner parties and hanging out.
And living life.
Living life. So, yeah, we are gonna get better at that.
When's the deadline, if I can ask?
It's in 2 weeks.
Okay. But you're gonna kill it. It's gonna happen.
Thanks.
And the pressure is on, so it's gonna...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always happens that way. Like, I usually start everything and I get them going and everything, but in the final moments, like the last month or so, I like bring everything together and make everything cohesive.
But that makes sense as well, because like painting can be such a long process, and to get everything to the level where they're all the same level of like finished and being able to like see them, and then you can like add the last things to it to make it like cohesive, like you said. That makes sense to me. Yeah. And then speaking about like work-life balance, what outside of the studio and outside of painting and drawing or whatever you do for your practice, what inspires you that's not related to art?
Well, I think that growing up in nature, there is just something a little bit different about, I believe that when you grow up with access to like the earth and the ground and like there's this kind of groundedness that it feels so familiar when I'm in the woods. And it just, there's nothing like being in the woods for me. There's nothing like the sound of a rushing river and like trees, and it's just so, my nervous system just goes like, it's amazing. I don't even know how I've been in New York for this long.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you think that like painting does that for you? In a different level, but...
Yeah, like every time I go to... I try to find nature as frequently as possible. And I always feel like I make the best work kind of close to those...
moments.
Trips. Yeah. So nature.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Nature's, I think that that's actually a scientific thing, that when you go in nature, it like actually does calm your body down, which is so crazy that we've like built something around us that takes that away.
I know.
It's wild.
It's like,
we're like, let's just make humans as anxious as possible.
We're electrical beings.
Yeah.
We're just like batteries, you know? Yeah. And when you touch a tree or put your like bare feet on the ground, the electrical charge of like the earth connects with the electrical charge of your body in like it's actual science.
It is science.
Yeah, and you're like connected, you're just like plugged
literally
in.
Grounded.
Yes.
In the most literal way.
And in New York, in the city, whenever there's concrete, stone, or even just like wearing shoes, like rubber shoes, you're untethered. And then it really affects
your brain.
Real.
No, I know. Yeah, I feel that a lot. I mean, I live in Vancouver, and I mean, it's still the city, but I have so much access to like patches of nature.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what I would do without that. It's the most peaceful thing whenever anything is going wrong in my life. For me, it's less, I mean, I love the woods, but for me, it's more like going to the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean.
Because I live like 15 minutes away from the ocean. So I'll just like walk to the water and I'll be like,
yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, I can exist again. It can work.
I know.
And then speaking kind of, I guess, I don't know, I consider like going to nature and like having that kind of ritualistic things. What is a sketchbook like for you?
Sketchbook?
Do you have a sketchbook?
Yes, I do. I actually I've been meaning to start drawing daily because I don't draw daily anymore, but I really want to.
Did you do that in the past?
Yes, I drew daily. I used to draw people on the subway and like give them the drawing.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and like on the G train.
You started it.
I mean, I think a lot of people, it's kind of a practice in New York. It's so sweet. I love us for that. But I saw someone doing that one time and I was like, that's genius. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, and so I started drawing people on the subway when I was like 18 years old, and I would just do it every single day.
Such a good way to practice drawing people. You don't need to go to a live drawing thing. You can just go on the subway and be like, that's my live drawing class.
I know, but live drawing is so, like,
That's, different. But.
It's so amazing to have a model. Oh my God. I love live drawing.
Those people are also so talented. There's, like, ones that sit for, like, 2 to 3 hours, and they're just like, how do you... It's really, really, really hard.
It
is.
So hard. I don't even understand how they do it.
Yeah. But back to the sketchbook, is it still, like, so you're not drawing every day, but how is it for you? Like, how important is it for your practice?
Usually I'll start with the underpainting, and I kind of just do whatever I'm feeling that day. And I like to experiment with different tools that I haven't used before in the first layer, just to kind of like keep things spontaneous. Yeah. And then the next day I come into studio and I look at the thing, and then I'll have a sketchbook and I just kind of draw what I see. Like
that's so interesting.
Yeah, any shapes that are coming out, like composition or figures. My eye likes to find figures in everything, but I think that's just everyone. And so I usually find a figure like very quickly. And then what I'll do is like draw the figure, and then
in the sketchbook.
Yeah, in the sketchbook, or just kind of like the general pose. And then the reason why a lot of the figures end up looking like me is because there's no reference for that exact, like it has to be that exact pose to work with the painting that already exists. So I usually just use myself as a reference for the figures. Yeah. But they're not meant to be self-portraits. It's more about like the feeling.
A body, yeah. That's so interesting. I've never really heard of that back and forth between the sketch and a painting. Usually, like the most common thing that I've heard is like you'll do a sketch and then you'll go to the painting.
Yeah.
But you paint and then you sketch and then you continue painting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I love to hear that process. And have you ever, or do you ever paint things that are, or draw things that are like completely away from what you do?
Yeah.
Like different. And why do you not, I mean, it kind of makes sense why you wouldn't show it, but what makes you not go to that?
Well, I think sometimes I draw things that are, I'm looking like that little creature right there in the blue painting.
Oh yeah.
Like that's weird.
I love him.
Out of character for me. But I just kind of, I saw something, it was like an etching from the 18th century of this like kind of horned, like magical horned creature. And I just loved him so much that I made like a sketch of him on one of my paintings. And I stood back from it after I did it, and I was just like, that's a weird one. And my boyfriend came in after I did it, and he was just like,
what
okay, like, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. It's I think that I love surprising myself. It's so important to surprise yourself. Yeah. But then sometimes it's like good to let them breathe, the surprises breathe for a second before you like
commit to them,
publish it and commit. Yeah, I think that one's gonna like live in studio for a while.
Yeah.
To see if I
love that character.
We'll see if he makes it into the world.
I'm excited to see if he does. I feel like he will. And then how has it been for you, you know, like your relationship to your practice and your art? Like what's been the like ups and downs of it, in the sense of like, did you ever feel like, I mean, giving up is a very dramatic way to put it, but like, did you ever feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do it? Or did you always have like the confidence of like, I know I can do it? Or how has that been for you?
I think that my perspective on everything is, I think that, I don't know where I got this from, but from a very young age, I was always kind of like willing to do things just kind of for the plot. Because,
I love that.
Because like, why not? And so I have been in like pretty dangerous situations, like traveling and stuff, and it's not always like a positive quality. But most of the time I'm just like, I'm gonna try this, because if I don't try it, I will always wonder like what could have happened.
Yeah.
And so with the painting, it's like I know that I love painting more than anything, and it's like if you already know that, then like
you should go for it.
Let's just give it a shot. Like, let's try. And I had the privilege at the time, because I had a freelance job and the pandemic, and it kind of was like alchemized, you know?
Yeah. I've heard a lot, like, from being here, the other artists that I've spoken to, like, COVID was actually, like, a bit of, I mean, as much as it was a traumatic thing for everyone, as everyone knows, but I think for a lot of people, it gave them kind of like a push and an ability to be able to do something that they didn't have the same, because the world paused.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
in some way.
I totally agree. I think the main driving force was not so much the like isolation in the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was more so, in my opinion, it was like there was this feeling of like, oh shit, things can just change.
Yeah.
Like one day everything can just be different.
Yeah.
And that kind of subconscious knowledge that is like pushed to the forefront, I think it encourages, I don't know, it hopefully encouraged a lot of people to like follow their passions and like do more.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, if everything, this is kind of what I was thinking through. If everything goes wrong in life, I'll have paintings. So I want to be able to like have that and work on that as hard as I can, because that's a really good thing to have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like, that's consistent. That's something that like for me has been like, what's the word? Like is tethering like a negative word? I mean, like it's been like a lifeline type thing where like if everything goes wrong, okay, well this thing is always going to be there, you know? So maybe, I don't know if that's kind of how
it is. It's like holding on to the things that you are just pillars of like who you are, and you want to cultivate that instead of leave them behind in adulthood. So I felt like I owed it to myself to continue painting, and then I just kind of did the social media thing and like tried to make as many friends as possible at the same time. Yeah,
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Because now I get to see your work. So we talked about like the purity and the beautiful parts, and now we're going to talk about gallery world.
Yeah. Okay.
Which can be really great. It can be a really great experience, but it's definitely a little bit of a rocky road. What has it been like for you navigating gallery relationships?
I think gallery, like everything has been really good so far. Like I said, I'm at this point I've only worked with a couple galleries, but the ones that I have worked with are really professional and good. I think the main thing is that you don't really want to you don't want to feel like you don't want to feel like you're kind of just doing a show because they have a slot. You want to feel like they really
want you,
care about what you're doing, and they stand behind you, and they like have thoughts about art and your work, and it's not just like this sterile like business transaction.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that it's easier said than done, because a lot of times that is how it feels, or it can feel. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's the main thing, is just making sure that that you get the energy from that person, the gallerist, that they care about art. Like,
it's a genuine thing that they're interested in.
Yeah.
Rather than them being like trying to get money and that being their only thing.
I mean,
even though that's
no.
It is a business at the end of the day, but you want the business to be backed by like passion and interest rather than just money.
Yeah. Like, It's if I was a gallerist, it would be. I think it would be really, really fun to like really just get into like the work and the art and like why it's being made and like the story behind it, so I can tell people like, oh, this is what they were thinking at that time, like they were going through this, and then like,
100%.
It's just so fun. So and there are gallerists like that everywhere. So
Yeah, I worked in a gallery in Vancouver, like a smaller gallery for a bit, and that was I was shocked at how passionate I was about it, because it's such a privilege that you get to share, that artists share information with you and tell you. I find, regardless of what you're making, I consider every art practice to be extremely intimate, and they're sharing this like intimate thing with you, and you get to share it with people and get people excited about it, and that's such a beautiful thing. So I'm happy to hear that there's still galleries out there that have that. And of course there are. People love art, and it's such a special thing for so many people. So I'm glad there are still ones out there.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Like there has to, you have to be like into it. Yeah, you have to be really interested to, especially to become super successful as a gallery. Like there has to be some level of
passion.
Yeah. So I think like any really big successful gallery that shows strong work, they're going to be probably like that.
Yeah. Because people, even buyers, can tell that it's something genuine, and people who come see shows, they can tell that it's something genuine, I believe.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. I think that in this day and age, it's like a little cringe to be genuine and authentic and just like earnest, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what artists are. Like
that's
you can't
kind of our whole.
You can't avoid it, and so it's funny being like, there's like the cool galleries, and then there's like the real. I don't know. This is such a big. I could go on.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm interested.
It's fascinating.
And still talking about galleries, like, what do you think? This is kind of a difficult question, but because you're not a gallery yourself, you're an artist. But what do you think, like, your experience in galleries? What do you think that they consider a quote unquote successful artist, or
what a gallery
considers a successful artist?
Well, what the gallery considers to be a successful artist, I think, would just be any artist that like has active market that people inquire about. They get phone calls about them. They're top of mind, you know? There's like in any scene, there's like a couple hundred artists really that you
hear about.
If you think of their name, you like know their work. Anyone that's kind of like talked about
in the air. No, that makes sense. And obviously having like a line of like works that have been sold and stuff like that.
Always, I think like
and then what do you think? I don't know, I ask artists about galleries because I like that perspective, right? Like, you're the ones working with them, and maybe one day I'll interview a gallerist, but right now I'm more interested in interviewing people like you doing the work, and on the receiving end of working with those relationships. But what do you think I guess you kind of spoke about it a little bit, so maybe you can just touch on it a little bit more, but what do you think they think about social media? Because I think that's really evolved in the last like 5 years, 10 years.
I think that it's changed even since like I started out, because like the algorithm of like right now we're using Instagram, and I don't know what happened, but like recently I've noticed that I'm not really seeing things from people. I'm only seeing things from like major companies or products or like really big accounts. Like I'm not really seeing anything from people with 400 followers anymore. So that's annoying. I don't know what that is. And there's like less visibility, I think, now. So I'm not sure how it works right now, but when I, like a couple years ago, 3 years ago, you could just kind of be active on like a smaller gallery's account, a gallery that has maybe like 10 to 20,000 followers or something. And like as a random person, you could just be like interested in what they're posting and stuff, and like engaging, and they would probably see you. And if you're of interest to them, then they would. But I think now it's like I don't think anyone sees each other.
Yeah, it's different. I think the algorithm is really weird. It's just so much what you want to see in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like it's like force feeding you what you want to see in a really uncomfortable way.
Like echo chamber.
Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying, honestly.
It is. I did a thing on purpose where I was like looking for open calls. I was like looking at open calls, and I was like looking at them on my Instagram, and I was like, oh, I feel like that's an interesting place to see them. I'm just gonna like seek them out on my Explorer. And then the next day I opened my phone and it was all open calls, and I was like, that's really weird how I could like alter my thing.
One time I just went down a rabbit hole and like I watched an interview of like some music, Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I just watched an interview, like I don't know why, I was just like
saw it and you were like, oh
sure. And I watched it, and then the next day it's like literally my entire phone was just her, like her face.
It's so strange.
I was like, oh my god, what do I do? And it took me like 2 weeks, because you can press like not interested.
Yeah.
And it took me like 2 weeks to get rid of her.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's what I mean by like force feeding you what you want.
Yeah. But on the other side of that, it's like you can see 900 paintings in a day.
Yeah.
And then get just like fried, and your whole brain is just like, I don't know how many paintings I can look at without going crazy.
And it's kind of like, I do like 100%. I think there's like really positive things about social media, but it is kind of like, and I appreciate being able to like see art. Like I saw you on social media. Like I wouldn't have had the opportunity to come to New York maybe before this and see your work in person, right? So it is a really special thing, and like I'm very grateful that we have it in some way. It's kind of, but there's the other aspect of it where it's like kind of painful to not have the energy backed up with the work, you know, like people are seeing a work first time on a screen, which is kind of sad because like,
well, it's changing painting.
Yeah.
It's totally changing painting.
Like your work is like, and every like painting or like most people's work has so much energy, and I feel so privileged that I'm like able to come to your studio to see them in person, because like they really are so charged and so beautiful and have so many intricacies that like a phone could never capture.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's hard to see them on phones.
I mean, they do look really great.
Thanks.
On a phone. I do have to say, but like your work does have so much energy, and it's it does.
Know what you mean.
It does come through 100%, and I think that your work really does do well with that, which I think you're like, that's really great for you.
Yeah, I think, well, the thing about making paintings that are mostly seen on like this big is, well, two things. One, I think that in the future, we're going to look back on social media in the way that our use of it, in the way that we look back on like cigarettes.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's just so fucked. Sorry.
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
that's fine. You can say fucked.
It's so fucked.
No, I agree. Like think about back in the day, like in the 60s, like doctors used to prescribe cigarettes. I know that's just like such a cheesy thing, but they used to do that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, doctors used to prescribe cigarettes for like stress and digestion.
That is so
And kids used to
funny.
smoke. My mom lived in Brazil for a little bit. She's not from Brazil, but she like lived there for a bit when she was a teenager. And she was like, she told me how you could like buy like single cigarettes at a stall with like candy.
Yeah.
And like kids, like a 10-year-old could go and be like, I would like a cigarette and a pack of gum. Yeah. And that was...
Well, it's kind of the same
And that
thing.
in the same way.
Yeah, well, it's an instrument of control.
Yeah.
So So they're very linked, and
well, it's addiction, and that's how I see it.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be, I'm already seeing people kind of like detaching, and there's a whole flip phone movement.
I want a flip phone.
Yeah, I have one.
Do you really?
Yes, I got a flip phone, and it's not compatible with my, I have to figure it out. But yeah.
You're on the right track. Yeah. No, I saw this little kid on TikTok the other day, like watching TikTok, and I was like, and they were just like, and I guess that's kind of like full circling on the conversation about like childhood and what we were saying about like having that time. This kid is like so stimulated by like open mouth, like completely disconnected from reality, and it's just it is very sad.
Well, it's a dissociative state.
Yeah,
like literally. So
it is.
You're just being fed thoughts.
Yeah, or like
someone just there's like a device giving you a thought, and then you think about it, and then it gives you another one, and then you think about it, and then it gives you another one, and you're not even like
processing
doing it yourself. You're just, it's so. Yeah, and then I do it as well. Like I'll dissociate on Instagram for like an hour, and then I'm just it's like the time was just sand.
It's so painful. Yeah, it's painful to feel that. Mm-hmm. I used to do that one, and then sorry, we're like going into a rabbit hole of like social media. But I used to do that when I would like get off work, because I serve now sometimes. Well, no, I serve. I wish sometimes, but and I would be like so tired. I'd like close and like go home at like 3 a.m. and I'd be like on my phone, just like, and I was like, I'm not relaxed. Yeah. This is not relaxing me.
It's like a nice.
It's you're disconnecting.
Whatever they did, I don't know what it's. Yeah, like our brains are not equipped for that level of like
poking.
Yeah, we're not equipped for this.
No,
we're not.
I agree.
Like our brains are not. I don't think that we need to stop.
I agree. And I think that like you're saying you had, like you were saying before, you have like a limit on your phone or whatever.
Oh yeah, I block myself for 12 hours a day.
That's so smart.
That
is so smart. I literally have my social media on a separate phone, and I don't bring that phone out with me.
Yeah.
And then I can only have it as like a little like treat. Or when I'm trying to like do something on social media, then I'll be like, okay, I have to like use this as a business tool.
Well, one thing I would like to add about just like sharing artwork on Instagram is another thing is like your self-esteem is so fragile, because it's like the town square, you know? Yeah. Like you're just posting something and then everyone can react to it.
Or not react, which is equally as painful.
And and it's like sometimes I'll really love a painting and I like feel so strongly about it, and it's like one of my favorites I've ever made, because just technically and like the journey that I went on with this work, and it like won't do as well as something else, and it's like crushing, it's soul crushing, and it's just it really it can affect the way that I feel about my work, which I'm so young and I have so much to learn, and like I know that I'll get over that, but like right now I'm in such a like fragile, you know, I'm like starting out, and
but I mean it like I said, it's an intimate thing, right?
So, exactly.
So like if someone's like, not this one, and you're like, but I just spent like my whole heart is in that.
I know, but you know what? The thing that I say is that like, as long as you're taking risks and you feel strongly, like I know that I took risks, I know that I pushed myself like forward, and I like it. Yeah. But it still hurts.
No, 100%.
You know.
But that is I think that's like, to me, I mean, like I am just starting off, so I don't know why I would be giving people advice, but like my biggest advice in general, like not just in the arts, but in general for anything that you do, is just kind of like keeping your head down and like listening to yourself in a conscious way, like conscious of what's going on outside, but just kind of being like, okay, like I'm just gonna do what I feel is right, because that's the only thing you can know how to do.
Yeah. I was just listening to an interview recently, actually, And I'm just gonna say it just in case, like, so yeah. So I forgot who it was. Fuck.
I can write it down if you want. Yeah.
But he said that in the very beginning of the day when he enters the studio, he makes a point not to look at the work. He just avoids it at all costs. And yeah, like really just avoids looking at the painting for like an hour, just being in the space with it.
Okay.
And then he finally just addresses it and like looks at it and faces it. And in that like split second, in that moment, he knows like exactly there's like a voice that's like green here, purple here, white here. Like you have to do this thing. It kind of like speaks to you, but you have to catch it in that like split second.
Yeah.
Otherwise your analytical mind like takes over and you start kind of thinking too hard.
Yeah, 100%.
But like the first thing that the painting like says to you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
You do that. And then another thing is,
I love that.
He says that when a painting is done, it just kind of like stares back at you.
Yeah.
It's just there. It like exists, and you know that it's done enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is why I keep on addressing painting as a conversation. Like, I really do think like it's an alive, like I address painting as an alive thing that speaks to you. And then like you're saying at one point, it just is like,
yeah,
we're good.
Yeah,
that was a great conversation. Let's, you know what I mean?
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, yeah. It's real. It's so real. And I think that that's why, not to like bring up AI because.
Oh, that's a whole
like whatever. But I will say that.
No,
like,
please do. Yeah.
Painting is, you can't.
No. You can't. You can make. Well, that's also. We're getting in the rabbit hole quickly, but that's also like there's art that doesn't have the same intention. You know what I mean? Like there's people that make like paintings that are not with the same intention as a painter. Do you know what I mean? Like copying something or whatever. But in that way, I mean to say that AI will never capture someone's, not to get spiritual and cheesy, but soul, if you want to call it that, or energy. You know what I mean? Like it'll never be able to like translate that ever. Like
but like even if there was like I put my own name into like a AI thingy. I forgot what it was called. And I asked it to make like a Caroline Absher painting, and it did, and I made a painting. And
did it look like it?
That's kind of good.
Man, I'm gonna like.
It was like
I'm gonna take that.
It was like a waterfall and a sunset, and then there was like a figure kind of like leaning on the waterfall. It was like a giant figure. Cool. Genius.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, how did you come up with that? That's so good. And I was so intrigued by that. But also, it's like even if it could make something that looks exactly like my painting, which it can. If it can't now, it will in like a year.
Yeah.
There's still like, how are you gonna? They hold space. There's you can't.
It's a material thing,
right? So, the physical aspect of the painting is what makes it
100%.
Yeah.
And last thing I'll say on this, before the whole thing becomes about AI, but the last thing I'll say about it is like. I think I heard in an interview, but someone was talking about how when you look at a painting, it's the best, and this is how I've grown to know what they were saying, or like interpreted what they were saying. If you're looking at a painting, you're seeing in that moment the artist's gesture and the artist's hand, and you're seeing that in that moment, and there's something special about that, and nothing will be able to take away from the physicality of that, of like, that was a brushstroke that you did there with your hand, and that's there forever, and someone can see that. And I don't know, even if I saw something that was really beautiful, maybe captured me, that was made by AI, there's that piece of an artist that is in a painting, and that is in, like, you can't replace that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the memory of the hand, you know? Yeah. That's why I don't want to like. It's funny because there's a lot of airbrush painting happening right now, and it's the only thing, because they look amazing.
They really do, yeah.
They're so cool.
Yes.
You know that I can't make that effect, but there's no, you're never touching the canvas. You're kind of like away from it the whole time, which is a totally different thing. You know? Like there's so many different ways to make something.
Of course.
But for me, I'm like a very tactile person.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, the AI thing I could really talk about for like my whole entire life.
I know.
But we are actually at the last few questions. And the last few question, one of the last few questions, whatever, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Why did you say yes to this interview?
Honestly, like...
You're like, wait, why did I say yes?
No. I'm trying to remember. You reached out and you seem so cool. And also, I love talking about, I think it's really important what you're doing, asking the real questions. Like, it's so, someone said the word opaque in reference to a law one time. And I loved that adjective because it just means like, there's no transparency in like how things get done and how artists get to where they are, and a lot of times you just imagine that like, oh well, they just have a bunch of money and they can just paint every day all day, but most of us
don't.
most of us have like several jobs and are just trying. Another thing about it is like there's not a lot of long-term guarantee, if you will. So you kind of just like take it day by day, and it's very, I don't know, I think, just general like honesty and transparency is something that I value.
Me too. Perfect. Well, thank you. I'm very honored. And then you kind of, I guess, said it a little bit. Do you suggest this career?
Oh my God. Well, yes.
Well, double-sided.
For sure. Yeah. Because it's amazing. Like, as you know, I'm obsessed with, I love painting so much, and I can't believe that people want to buy my paintings. Like, that's the end of that.
Thing.
Yeah. But just the fact that there is no guarantee of anything. Like, you don't know that a show is happening until the painting is on the wall, basically. You never really, it's just very, you have to have like the mind for it, which is extreme flexibility and like open to very low expectations, but also like high expectations for yourself. Balancing those two things at the same time. I don't think that it's for everyone, for sure. Like, nothing's for everyone, but it's kind of incredible, you know. I feel so lucky.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do. And I guess you, again, kind of mentioned it, but if you can think of any other, I say top 3, but like you can give like one more quality that you think you need or shouldn't have, or not shouldn't have, you know, not that one, but what you should have to be an artist. I guess it is tricky.
General like excitement and interest, like curiosity and interest and asking questions and just being interested in other people and other artists and what they're doing and friends, and like going to studio visits and doing a lot of visits and talking to people and like making sure to stay engaged, and like living in New York, obviously huge.
It's perfect for that.
You know, like going to all the shows and being I'm not the most like extroverted person, but I can like do it for a few hours.
Yeah, you can turn it on if you need to.
Yeah, so like just being able to turn on for just a few hours like a week. If you can do that, then that's huge. And then also like with the painting or with the work itself, I think that in my opinion, it's really, really important to, what you said earlier, just like try not to think about what is hot
Yeah.
and like what other people are doing, and just make the painting that make the thing that
It's true to you.
yeah, is true to you, speaks to you, like challenges you, pushes you further.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then and this is one of the questions that if you can't think off the top of your head, I can just list them, but that you can think of 3 free opportunities for emergent artists.
Oh, 3 free opportunities for okay.
Trick question.
3 opportunities. Okay. Wait.
Yes.
You could go to. Here's one. You need to go to as many like studio visits as possible.
Yeah.
Just like slide into the. Well, I don't know if Instagram will be a thing for whoever's watching this, but like
Email.
whatever. Like yeah. You just kind of in my experience, what I did was if someone had already shown a couple of times, but they would be considered my peer, like we're the same age, we kind of have, you know, it's like you're just doing a little bit more than me at this time, then you have like your portfolio and your work and stuff, and it's like, who knows, maybe like this, like this experience right now, I was just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, you know.
People are a lot more receptive.
Open. Yeah.
Artists, like, I think there's some artists that are like a little bit more cold. I mean, obviously, like there's everyone everywhere for every career, but I think artists, a lot of them, we know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And I've realized from doing this and like speaking with people, there's a lot of artists that really want to like help and like guide and like have empathy. I think that's a big part of being a
especially since it's such an isolating practice. So most of us are just like alone all day long. And when someone wants to come over and talk about the work and have discourse, we're just like, please. Like,
I would love for someone to speak.
But sometimes it does. Like I do understand why artists don't want to do that, because it can be overwhelming, and you don't. It's like a sacred space.
Yeah, of course.
But so like, never take no personally.
No, of course not. I've gotten a few no's. In my time. Everyone has like a different relationship to their practice and is in a different space and has different timelines. Like there's some artists that were like, I would love to, I don't have the time, and I was like, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine as well. And then last, what are 3 artists or anyone, honestly, that you would like these questions asked to that you can think of?
Let's see. Probably someone who, like, I'm only a couple years in, so I would want to hear from someone who has been doing it for like anywhere between like 5 to 10 years. Like, you know, they have a foothold.
Of course.
They're doing good stuff. I would also want to hear from, so basically just like anyone who is super established. That would be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, their journey and everything.
Yeah, and then, or just specifically like these questions asked to someone who now is like 10 years down the road. And then also, I in my head, I just want to hear from someone that I can like learn from. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm speaking to people that I look up to or really find inspiring. So that's a good answer.
Yeah. Like it's also in general, just aiming really high in my relationships has been something that I used to be kind of like insecure about initiating friendships, but now I'm just like, there's something that happens and you just like don't really rejection doesn't sting as much anymore. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna try to be friends with this person and see what happens, like, you know?
Yeah.
Because they inspire me.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, I guess, one of the last things I'll say, but I realized when I was doing my residency, how much like an art career, because I always was like, okay, focusing so much on about painting and like the physical act of painting, and I was like, okay, this is like my biggest concern, and like this is what I have to do the things, and blah 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 blah, and which is really important. But then when I went to my residency, I was like, oh, like the whole other part of it is literally interacting with the art world and like making those connections and speaking to people and being interested in their work and like hearing about it and learning from people. Like that's just like the dual thing of being an
I think
artist.
it's like equal parts, you know.
I think so too.
They say that there's like the career focused artist and then the studio focused artist, and you kind of fall into one of two camps. I mean, like, binaries are never a good thing, but I think it is kind of true.
Yeah.
Like there are some who are like perfectly straddled, which is so cool. But at this point, I think I'm more of like a studio artist. I have my people, but yeah, getting out there, I need to like get out there more for sure.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's really hard. It's not easy, but it's
necessary.
Totally necessary. Yeah, you just have to grin and bear it.
yeah, 100%.
And I don't drink either, which is openings are.
Oh yeah.
You're just kind of standing there, and you're like,
hi. Just bring like water or like a soda and just be like, hi.
I know. I have like 7 beverages at all times.
Yeah.
Like,
a liquids person, yeah.
I'm one of those people, yeah.
I'm the same. But thank you so much. This has been so lovely to hear about your work and be in your studio. It's been so, I've loved talking to you about your work and then like looking and seeing everything. I honestly feel so privileged to be able to see it.
It's cool that we can just
look
right now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much again.
Of course.
Alrighty. That was so good. That made me so happy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Oh my god, that was so fun.